Hey, kids. Mom needs more help inside.
Hey. How many kids do you have?
3.
3?
Yeah.
That is a good number.
Whoa, whoa. Let's just concentrate on this one for now. Hey, what's it like being a dad?
How I would love 1 hour with you, 1 hour of just being with you. Then I could say,
kiss her, Daddy, kiss her.
Hashtag gag me.
Ugh. Mr. Clams has been sleeping for 2 days, Daddy. Goodbye, Mr. Clams.
No.
All right. Just slow down a little bit.
Stop yelling at me.
I don't think that's... Oh! Okay. Okay. All right, and that is why we always wear our seatbelt. And that's the birds and the bees.
Get on the phone.
Yeah. I am so proud of you, son.
Run.
Huh?
Run, it's gonna blow!
Have I told you lately?
I know, Dad. You love me. You tell me all the time.
Actually, I was going to tell you I think you're beautiful inside and out.
Whatever. Dad, you are disgusting.
Yeah, Dad, you are disgusting.
This right here goes to your future, this right here goes to you, and this right here goes to God.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. How much does God get?
What's wrong, beautiful?
Trevor broke up with me.
Thank you, Lord.
He's such a jerk. He broke up with me on a text message.
He just replied,
Dad, I can't believe you! Thanks, Dad.
he didn't deserve you. He didn't deserve you. 1, 2, 3! Heavenly Father, thank you for being so good to us.
God has the coolest job. He can make clouds all day.
Yeah, he does. But I think one of his very best jobs was when he made you.
Daddy.
Hey, what's it like being a dad?
How much time you got?
I sit there and I watch that and I think, I'm pretty sure I have been involved in almost every one of those, whether it be early on or even still. You know, I don't know how you can explain what being a dad is even better than that, because that's pretty much it. At some point in time, you cover all that stuff, especially the good ones, the really good ones, like, oh, Dad, my boyfriend broke up with me. Prayer works. I never got to text any of them back, but I do get to see them from time to time out in the street and give them that. Give them that. They know what that is. Being a parent, being a father, being a father is a big deal. Being a father means so many things to so many different people. And the crazy part of it is they're just depending on where you're from and what time and what era that you may come from, being a father meant so many different things. You know, there's, for the generation that come before me, a father really wasn't emotionally connected to the kids. And, you know, not very many fathers in the past ever told their children, I love you, or a big hug, or, you know, it's tough. You know, there, man's a man. And a lot of us have moved past that, and now fathers are more involved and they're more connected. And to me, it just seems like there's so much possibilities of being a whole lot better father, because you're able to connect a little more and you're able to be more to them. But what I never really thought about it, and what I never really seemed to connect to growing up, and I don't imagine anybody does, because no one thinks that far in the future. And now that I'm, you know, over 20, that's good enough. Now that I'm getting a little bit older, I see a little clearer. The Bible tells us, when I was a child, I thought as a child, but as a man, I think as a man. And now, as a man and a father and a husband and all these things, a pastor, now all these things all work together. Everything has a purpose. Everything that you do reflects in the pond of life that we live in. You know, and everything makes its own wave. Now, I think about God's plan. He said, in the beginning, God created male and female. And they come together and they make one. And God's plan was always to be this thing. But any time that God's plan is fractured, and I'm not talking about just marriage, I'm talking about marriage, family, faith, finances, all those things. Once any part of that begins to change and begins to move outside of what the plan was, we notice the ripple gets a little bigger and a little bigger every time. You don't really notice it first because so many other things kicked in. Like our last series, we were just talking about failure, surviving, and thriving. You don't really, you notice that there's a failure somewhere, but you move straight into survival mode, and you're going to do whatever you have to do to make it work and make it happen and make things keep going. And that's not really the time to think about what's going to be the long acting, where's this going to end? What part of my life is this really going to affect? And when I talk about that as far as fathers go, we didn't really realize that we moved out of a generation to where nobody ever talked about divorce. It wasn't even a possibility, was it, George? If you got a divorce on your block, everybody was talking about you, wasn't they? Because it just did not happen. It wasn't part of the conversation. It wasn't something that we were comfortable doing. You stuck it out. You made it through. You worked through it. You made it happen. Wasn't every relationship in that kind of deal wasn't great, I'm sure there were some unhappy people that just stuck it out because, you know, it was just so socially bad and wrong to do that. But we begin to notice a little further down the road as things loosen up, the one thing that really changed society was the no-fault divorce. Our society began to change that very moment when we come up on the no-fault divorce. You didn't have to go before a judge anymore and explain why. That's not my fault. It's not her fault. Whose fault is it? But it won't be until later on. I don't know if you've got the monthly newsletter, but Pastor Josh put in there, he was writing about fatherhood and stuff, and I just want to steal a little bit from him because I'm the senior pastor and I can. I asked permission first. He wasn't there, but it's all right. All right. And this is how Pastor Josh started off. Currently, we are in a state of desperate need of fathers. In our current frame of time, absent fathers are common, and it is not uncommon for children to be raised solely by their mothers. And these are just some of the statistics that he gave. 63% of youth suicides are from fatherless homes. 90% of all homeless and runaway children are from fatherless homes. 85% of all children who show behavior disorders come from fatherless homes. 80% of rapists with anger problems come from fatherless homes. 71% of all high school dropouts come from fatherless homes. Now, before I get emails and stuff, I'm not standing up here saying that the dad not being at home is the only problem and that's the only thing that was going on with these kids and stuff like that. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is it's definitely a part of a tear in the fracture, a fracture in the plan that God has set out for us. The mother has a very specific role in the family. And a father cannot replace that. He may fill in for it, but he cannot replace it. And a mother may be able to fill in for it, but he can't replace the father. So we're in a generation now where we moved out of the 40s and 50s, early 60s, to where there was hardly any divorce in the world, to where we're now beginning to reap the benefits of no-fault divorce and all these things that have come after that. So now we're reaping the generation that has come up in all this throwaway stuff. If I'm done with you, I'm done with you. I'll throw you away. When you no longer meet my needs, or when, the next person comes along, I'm done with you, I throw you away, and I'm going to go with this. With little thought about what's going to happen with little Johnny and Susie and Buck the dog and, all this stuff. I'm just gone. So we're beginning to see what that's processing. And now, dropouts of school are crazy. I'm one. My thought process as a young man growing up on what marriage was about and what true relationships were all about and how men stay, no. I didn't have that. I didn't see that, and I didn't get that until later on in life. But you begin to see that everything starts to kind of break down. And let me read you this, which is the only notes that I have for today, was what Josh wrote and what I have right here. Don't be deceived. That doesn't mean it's going to be a short service. That's just all the notes I have. This is from Wesley Gustafson, And this, compared to the statistics that I just gave you, I want you to hear this. The Christian home is the most important institution in the world. That does not minimize the position of the church and the state. They also have been ordained of God. But he places the home first, in time as well as in importance. It is the foundation upon which all other institutions are built. Upon it, the church and state will either stand or fall. Where the homes are, the churches and schools are, and the government will be. Every place where there has been a neglect of home responsibility, there eventually has been a crumbling of the nation. Wow. Wow. My mom was a single mom for a long time, and pretty well single-handedly raised all of us boys and one girl. And I'm probably the only one that turned out perfect. It ain't her fault. You know, you get 1 out of 5, it ain't bad. But I can tell you this, not to in any way demean or belittle my mother. My mother did not have the time to be at home and to really spend a lot of good quality time with the kids because her husband that made all the promises to love and live and be forever left and never even called, never checked. He was gone and out of there. No money, no help. So my mother had to take on mother and father role, provider, healthcare, everything was her, but it also took everything of her. See how God's plan starts coming unraveled pretty quick when you spend a whole lot of time out of the home just trying to earn enough money just to pay the bills. And I remember a time where she gave me 50 cents. I was supposed to go get something from the store. I don't remember what it is. But, you know, a kid, when you send a kid to the store, leftovers are yours. Or it is with Jade in them, because you can get Jade a 20 or $1. You ain't getting anything back. But she needed that change back to make it work. 50 cents. And she had to have that change back. Of course, back then, a gallon of gas was 50 cents. A lot of things were 50 cents. It was all uphill going to school and back. It's 50 cents. But have you ever heard the old saying, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world? You know why that is? Because the mother had the time to really nurture the child and really begin to install the moral breakdown and how you treat people and all that. And then once mom was covering all those bases, you know, dad would teach you this is the work ethics and this and that. And again, I'm not taking away from women. I'm not saying anything negative about them. But back in the time period I'm talking about, most of the women were stay-at-home moms and the fathers were the providers, and things wasn't so crazy expensive that you couldn't live on a one income. Now, the way things have gone, now you almost have to have two. You almost have to have two incomes or you struggle, and it's tough, all right? So here's what I will say. For the dads that are here and the dads that are staying and the dads that are working and doing whatever they're done, for all you men that are in a committed relationship right now, thank you. It's where the world begins to change and make a turn and go back the way it's supposed to go. Because men, your young men need you. As soon as there was no man in my life anymore, then all of us boys really just kind of spun out. And by then, one parent can fight and do the best they can. But man, trying to keep it together from there, because he's not mad at you, but he's rebelling against you because he doesn't have what the others have. And this whole fabric begins to tear and come apart. But men, those of you that are working it out, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's everything that you ever dreamed it would be, but it's worth the fight to stay. It's worth the fight to get in there. Once you've made the commitment, once you've made the promises, you've pursued her, you've done everything to go after her, you won, now stay. God says in his word, he says, when you've done all to stand, stand therefore. Those young men, they need you to teach them what it is to be a real man. They don't need little Tommy teaching them how to be a man. They need you to teach them how to hold mama's hand, how to be a team with mom, how not to talk to a woman. They need you to they need you to learn how to not talk to a woman, and how you do talk to them, and how you put that woman out front, and you put her, as the queen and the princess of your home, and she means everything to us. There's a little country song, I don't remember who sang it, but it says that the little boy's talking about how he's just like you, huh? I'm watching you. Yeah, I'm watching you. Yeah. He says, me and you, we both like holding mom's hand, don't we? That's what he's supposed to see. That's what he's supposed to learn, because he is watching. And the little girls, they need to know that you're that protector. Man, you're it. You'll be the man that she sees first when she starts dating. What is she going to see? What's she looking for? I see Bradley, and I read what he wrote about what Bradley said. Bradley said, Dad, how many dads do I got? That's a trick question anymore. It's sad, but true. How many dads do I got? And before he could answer, she said, I got 3. Uh-oh. Jamie's got a lot to answer for. She said, I got you and Jesus and God. They're all my dads. Boy, that's doing some things right as far as I'm concerned. That's right where I want her to be. But I see so much that's going along with the men that are staying now. I see so much that are happening with the kids that the men are staying, and the men are starting to die more to themselves and putting their home and their children and their families first more. Because we went through this generation that was just all about me. Well, ain't it important that I'm happy? Yes, it's important for you to be happy. The whole time you were growing up and teenager and free to do whatever you want to do. But when you told that young lady that you want her to be your wife, then you being happy is more about you and her. What's it going to be, me and you, to be happy? Now we're a team. We're happy. And making you happy makes me happy. And her making me happy makes me happy. You think I messed up, but I didn't. I meant what I said. And the kids feel safety in the home, because they're going to leave and they're going to build the home you built 9 times out of 10. Or they're going to try not to. They're going to go way overboard trying to say, I'm not building that house. But being at home, being a dad is a blast sometimes. All of them taking off, running, jumping in the pool. the funeral with the fish, carrying them off to bed. Because when you get to the end of your life, it's not going to be about who was the best bowler. It's not going to be if you was the best fighter out of your group of men that you ran with. My legacy is when I come in here and my grandson is looking for me. More than any fight I've ever won, any drinking contest I was ever in, anything I've ever done, nothing puts a smile on my face faster than when little Beckham, or when I sat at home the other day and my granddaughter came down from Kansas City and my grandson and my son, and I sat there at my table and I looked at her and I thought, man, she's leaving being a little girl and transforming into a young lady. I see how beautiful she is, and I just see how all this is transforming. And I don't want to be the one missing in their world. I want to be that person that's seeing it and watching it and seeing it unfold and finally being the one that you just finally have to walk off on the questions of, well, why? Pop, why? Oh my goodness, I'm trying to watch this show. But they got to know, they want to know. That's the most beautiful thing in the world. Your family. And you being you're the father. You're the dad. Let me tell you what else I got. I didn't take this note, I just highlighted it. And this is what happened in my life too. Let me find where I'm at here. There it is. What a question. Brother Scott Lawson was writing about fatherhood and stuff, and he said, my wife once asked me, what made you come to love your stepdad when you were a kid? And he said, my simple response, it's because he stayed. I don't need you to be a hero. I don't need you to be Superman. I don't need you to be, you were the pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't need all that stuff. First and foremost, I just need you to stay. There's a lot of runaway Joes that come back and forth. I just need you to stay. And I had the privilege to have one of those when I was younger growing up. But the only difference between him and anybody else is that he cared. He took a few minutes to teach me something. And I still do the same stuff. Men, if you're a stepdad, I want you to listen to me for a minute. Some of my characteristics today are from my stepdad. I still, the very first thing in the mornings, as soon as I wake up, I get the stuff out of the corner of my eyes. That's a weird thing. But he used to come wake me up in the mornings on the weekends and take me hunting. And he'd say, get that stuff out of your eyes. It makes you look like you just woke up. I did. But he wanted me to look like I've been up as long as he's been up. It's called insomnia. It's what you have. I sleep all right. But he wanted me to get, and to this day, first thing I wake up is just, and stepdads, it could be dangerous to spend some time with your stepkids and teach them stuff. His biggest thing in life was hunting, and I'd aggravate him to no end. He'd take me in the woods, and at first it scared me because I don't know why he's asking me this question anyway. He said, if I took you out here and dropped you off, whoa, wait a minute. We moved here from Little Rock. If you take me in the woods, drop me off, that's it. I'll be raised by a pack of wolves. Because I'm never getting out of here. He said, which way is north? What? How do I know which way is north? I've just been following you. There's a lot of truth in that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just following you. I trust you enough to take me in here and get me out of here. This ain't something I'd have done on my own. But I never did get it. I still can't tell you. But which way is north? He said, well, the moss grows on this side of the tree. All right. I still don't know which way is north. So he's teaching me to hunt. And I got my gun. And I'm just walking around. I've been a city kid. I'm just walking around. I was swinging this gun around. And he happened to turn around to say something one day, and he went, oh. I still got my finger on the trigger. I'm just running, and that's just pointing from where I was standing, probably right at his head. We had a long meeting. I didn't get to carry the gun anymore. What I did get was a stick about this long that they put in my belt loop, and I would carry the squirrels from there out. That's why I'm a vegetarian now. Definitely not a vegetarian. But you know, I wanted to tell you that just to tell you this. I'm like Brother Scott. I didn't need a whole lot from him. I just need to know you're going to be here tomorrow when I get up. I'm just going to need a little bit of your time to come and do some things with me and show me something. Show me something that when I'm 50, I'll still remember it. And if you're the real dad, it's the same thing. We get it. We know you're busy. We know you got to earn a living. We know you got things you got to do. And we get all that. I'm not asking for a whole lot. You know, I could be the busiest person in the world. But if little JD or one of the girls, if there's tears in that eye, all bets are off. Nobody in this church is going to come before them. Whatever meeting is scheduled for me, whatever I'm supposed to be doing, if one of my kids are hurt or really in a situation in life that needs my attention, you guys are going to have to wait. I got to be with her. And that's the way it should be. A father is a big, big deal. And women, I gave you your time on Mother's Day. And I'll never demean or belittle a woman because my mother raised me on her own. You know, I've seen what it's like, and I've lived in that home when it's like that. I know what I'm talking about. And I've seen both sides of it. But men, some kids will make up stuff about their fathers when they're not there. They'll make up stories about how, my dad's an astronaut. But what you don't see is how crushed they are when it comes to realize none of these stories are true. They'd be just as happy with you being a construction worker coming in the door every day and just giving them a little bit of time. And if your wife comes up to you and says, you better do something with that boy, guess what that means? You need to spend some time. That boy needs a little time before mom hurts him. It may be a health issue later, but right now, he needs some attention. But fathers, you're the best. The one that taught me the stuff, the one that spent time with me, he was not the best man. He's not a good man. But he stayed and he taught me some things, and I'll never forget that. And I done his funeral right here. Hardest thing I ever did. Because now both are gone, my real father and the one I call Dad. And that's you look toward forever. And when you're waiting and you're saying, oh, I'm going to spend so much time with them later. Later never gets there. It's today. So for you fathers that are staying for today, my hat's off to you. I appreciate you so much. Your kids' mom, appreciate you so much. If you're a stepdad, they appreciate you. It's the hardest job you ever did. It's the hardest job you ever got involved with. If you're in a blended family, you need a lot of prayer. Because it is so hard. It's so tough. But there's so many benefits to it. Because you know, I've come to find out, being a stepdad, a kid is a kid, whether it's yours or not. And they're just as easy to fall in love with as the ones that you gave birth to. And I really don't see any difference anymore. I don't see them as this or that. They're our kids. Plain and simple. They're our grandkids. Unless they're kicking and tearing stuff up, trying to sleep, then it hurts. I get up out of bed and go sleep on the couch. Your grandkids are crazy. And when they're acting bad, they're my kids and they're acting just like me. But one thing about it is, it's just family. You choose it. I guess that's the long route that I took to say, family. Family's it. Crazy. I mean, you think when you're right in the middle of it and they're little, you think, God, why would anybody have a kid? Or when you're looking at somebody else's kids, their kids are crazy. None of their kids will make it in my life area. I kill all of them. But your kids are just as crazy. But you're used to your crazy. And then when you get grown like us and all your kids are just about there and you just have that wonderful ability to sit back and go, I'm so glad I'm done. Whew. We made it. And now we'll make it through the grandkids. And we'll watch them do it. I'm so proud of my son-in-law, Josh, and, you know, he's just got it. Him and Jamie, they do so well with the kids. And it's just about a half a mile or so for me to take the grandkids back to the house. But he's a dad. He learned it. And it's never easy. It's never easy, is it, Mike? It ain't easy. Joe ought to have the best stepdad award ever, anywhere. Because all your kids are crazy. I'm in ministry with all of them. Dustin, well, don't hide. Keep your head up. All right. So, dads, thank you. We love you so much. You're so important. And I know we don't always get the recognition for it. And I know every single commercial that you see on TV is some idiot standing at a grocery store going, gosh, I don't know, babe. Do you want this loaf of bread or that loaf of bread? Listen, we can go to the store and get bread. Everything is, I don't know if it's just a marketing thing that they're marketing everything towards women and all this and that, but every commercial I see is some doofus. How that boy even continues to get breath in and out is all I can figure. He ain't doing much good anywhere else. You know, you leave him at home with the kids, they've tore up the whole, wait a minute.
No, that's true.
Let's keep it moving. Let's just skip that one. Edit that. But men, you're incredible. You guys are good. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for running your home and being a partner. And men, thank you for bringing your family to church. I don't know of very many things that you'll do that will make such an impact in life for a long, long period of time as bringing your family to church. Wow. It's an impact that'll last forever. Right, Miss Annie? My mom's right here. She was the best dad I ever had. She stayed. So men, hold your head up today. It's your day. For all you've done, all you're going to do, everything in the past and everything in the future, you've earned it. It's a badge of honor. Anybody can make a baby. That's just DNA and genetics. But a dad, that's a little tougher role. And I applaud you. Can we let the men and the fathers know? So women today, make their favorite meals, make them feel special, do special things for them for the next week and a half. You know, it's just harder. It's,
Stop shaking.
huh?
Your wife said stop shaking.
Yeah, I've seen it. You know, it's not that hard to celebrate manhood for a couple of weeks out of the year. It gets us over till football season starts again. Amen? And for all you men that can clear a couch, they let our secret out now. We probably can't do that anymore. But thank you for coming today. I so appreciate you coming here and being a part of this family. And fathers, have a good time today. Enjoy yourself today. Enjoy every day, but specifically this one. Amen. Amen. Thank you, guys. God bless everybody.